A few years ago, 2015, 2016, over the Christmas break, it was custom for my seminary to take the deacon class. Those that are about to be ordained to the priest, as priest, to Europe for a month. So we spent a month, a week in London, a week in Paris, a week in Rome, and a week at our mother house in Switzerland. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was the beauty of the artwork we saw, the Louvre in Paris, and just things, in London that are, 1,000 years old, and even in Rome, things that go back to the early church, the architecture, the beauty of the churches there, things that have endured, things that still attract people. The beauty of God truly present, because beauty attracts people, right? It's a visible reminder of God's presence among us, God who is transcendent, who is all things beautiful. And that's why we build our churches the way we do. That's why I'm very thankful for Father Den for the work he did here. He understood this. That's why he made this a beautiful place for us to come and worship. And I'm also thankful he didn't leave me any debt. But it's an honor to walk in here and see this beauty. And the thing that really stuck out to me when I was in Rome was going to the Vatican, and just being a simple boy from Prattville, I never thought I would probably be in one of those places, was standing in the Sistine Chapel. And you stand there and you're just overwhelmed with the beautiful work of Michelangelo as you stand there and stare at that magnificent ceiling. And you're reminded of the great gifts of God and the beauty and that so many of our artists have undertaken. There's a reason the Catholic Church builds things beautiful. Because we're the custodians of Western civilization, but the beauty of the major artworks were commissioned by the church for worship. So we think Michelangelo and Raphael and Bernini. My favorite artist, Caravaggio. We've got a lot of his replicas around. But all of it, and it really struck me, all of it paled in comparison standing in the Sistine Chapel, looking at Michelangelo's work, and you come to realize the beauty far surpassing that work in God's eyes. The beauty of the human person. The beauty of a family, which is what we celebrate today. The Feast of the Holy Family. By far, more important, more beautiful than anything that we have built, the churches we have built, the structures we have built, our architecture, our paintings. By far, everything that surpasses that is sitting out here in the pews. The family. We are artists. We are creators. We share in God's creating gift. We bring forth life into the world, which is far more important. If you go back to the book of Genesis, God gives us this profound thing and wants us to understand it. So he creates Adam and Eve, male and female, created in the image and likeness of God. He wants us to understand that beauty. But then he goes on to say, have domain, be fruitful and multiply. You share in the very gift that I have given you to create, to be an artist of life, to bring forth more people that I may love my creation. We really do. When I talk to marriage young couples about this, when I talk about marriage, you wield the most creative power in the world. You share in God's creative force. And that's not to be taken lightly. God could just point and will people into existence, but he doesn't do that. You know, if he just snaps his fingers and thinks of somebody, somebody's going to be here in the front row, of the church. But he doesn't do that. He allows us to share in his creative power. It allows us to be an artist. And that's why really artistry is something I'm not good at. I marvel at artists, musicians, and people that can do that because I have none of that ability. Because I understand where this comes from, why God wills this for us. And God doesn't just shout this from the clouds and say, go do this. He enters into this. Christmas is about this. This Christmas season is about this. God doesn't say just go do this. He subjects himself to this. Christ enters into a family. Most of his life is unknown. From the time he's about 12 into his public ministry, about 18 years, he's living in a family. He's going about his business. He's learning. He's studying. He's working. He's submissive to Joseph and Mary. He's a good son. He's the perfect son. He lives in a Nazareth. He is a part of the family. God does not just say, go be fruitful and multiply and start a family. No, he wills this for us. And the fact that he wills it for us and enters into that is proof that why our families are so important. It's the beautiful thing. Why do you think families are so under attack? The devil, anything that's beautiful of God is going to be under attack. It always has been. The devil wishes to destroy families. So there's never been a society in the history of the world that is strong, that doesn't have strong families. Pope John Paul II said this. As the family goes, as society goes, so the whole world goes. When families start to be torn apart and destroyed, you can bet the collapse of a society is imminent, which baffles my mind to turn on the TV and media and see a family under attack, because you know what you're wishing for. Are you trying to usher in a reign of hell? But that's what they're doing. It's all the work of the devil. Families are under attack. So, anything that's beautiful of God, everything beautiful, anything that is from the Creator, the most important parts of God's plan are always under attack by the devil. The devil has convinced us we have not made in the image and likeness of God. That we are not creators. That we are not artists. The devil has convinced the world, and in Western civilization in general, that God did not create us male and female. Gender ideology. There is no difference in a man and a woman. Where do you think that comes from? The devil has convinced the world that people should not be fruitful and multiply. That a baby is a burden to society. You can get by not having children and not being creative, and a dog is just as good. Straight out lies of the devil. The devil has convinced the world that marriage is not between a man and a woman. You can define it to whatever you want to be. That you don't have to leave your father and your mother and set up a family and an establishment of God's will. It's a perversion of everything that God does. The devil perverts everything that's beautiful. And that's why I will probably end up on an ACLU or, Southern Poverty Law Center for a homily, for the homily of hate speech. But I don't care. I'm telling you the truth. I really don't care anymore. The beautiful thing about our faith is it is the truth, because over there, Jesus Christ enters in his creation. He thinks so much of a family, this is what he enters into. It is the building block of everything godly. The church is radically pro-family. And we're going to take a lot of heat for it. And you're going to take a lot of heat for it, for being a family and standing for the truth. Take this great gift, accept God's call to be artists, accept God's call for the infinite, and young people really come to understand what it is God is calling you to be co-creators, to bring forth life, to bring forth goodness, to bring forth beauty, to be obedient to your parents, glorifying God in that way. God will ask you to do greater things one day. But right now, you can glorify God by being obedient, following the fourth commandment. It's a big part of your lives. And when God sees fit, He is going to ask you to do something else. He's going to ask you to be a part of something. Me, as a priest, I have a family. I am married. To all of those married out there, young people, look around to them as the example. God is going to ask you to stand for a family.